to the show.
Hello, this is Greg Bishop. I am the writer and director of Dante the Great, and this is Smoke and Mirrors, a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the film.
There's no such thing as magic.
The inspiration for Dante the Great came from an article in 2007 about a police raid on David Copperfield's warehouse, and that just served as a springboard for what if a famous magician was actually dabbling in black magic and making people disappear. Always been a fan of the art of illusion and the history of magic, and film is basically kind of like one big magic trick anyway. They kind of go hand in hand. I really wanted to do something that had a great Twilight Zone feel to it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming out to the show tonight.
I wrote the role of Dante for my pal Justin Wellborn. He was in my first two feature films, The Other Side and Dance of the Dead. There's a saying that good actors bring the missing pages to your screenplay, and I knew Justin Wellborn would do just that. He would bring this character to life and really make it his own.
Next, the bunny box. When we are done with the bunny box, please make sure the bunny is no longer in it. Otherwise, we're going to have a whole box full of bunny shit.
I cast Emmy Argo as Scarlet.
I'm a magician's assistant for Dante the Great.
Just thought she was really natural, had a great look, lovely actress, lovely person.
And action!
Brad Miska and Chris White invited me on board VHS 3. Very cool guys. I produced this segment with Nils Onsager, Dan Caudill, and Stephen Caudill. The VHS films are still produced independently, which even though this is part 3 of a franchise, they're still kind of made as low-budget short films. Which is cool because it gives the filmmaker a whole lot of creative freedom that you usually wouldn't get on a bigger movie. While we had a ton of creative freedom, the budget was really tight. The budget is enough to do a comfortable short film about 3 guys in a room talking. But I didn't want to make a film about 3 guys in a room talking. My goal was to create the illusion that we had a much bigger budget than we actually did.
How'd you do that?
I'll show you.
Orson Welles says the enemy of art is the absence of limitations. So I knew we had to use our limitations to our advantage, throw in a lot of creativity, and make this thing look big. So there are pluses and minuses to the found footage format. On the plus side, the footage is really visceral. There's a real immediacy to the images. You get to do longer takes like this one, really kind of draw the audience in. And as a filmmaker, it allows you to still shots. You know, you can remain really low profile and get shots you couldn't usually do with a big crew. Like, for example, here, a carpet store caught on fire a few blocks from my place. So I grabbed my DP, George Foyt. Him and I ran down there with cameras and filmed these fire trucks putting out the fire. And I wrote it into the script as Dante accidentally burning down his warehouse while he was practicing his black magic. Just gave the film a little more production value. Like here, we shot all these theaters and all this stuff in Vegas and then just replaced the signage later.
Where did you find that tape?
He recorded everything.
So to talk about the problems with the found footage format is you usually have an invisible lead character, because that character is usually behind the camera filming, which is a problem because you want your audience to connect with that person. So that's one of the reasons I decided to kind of do something different that hasn't been done in the VHS series and shoot the film in a mock documentary format, using footage from everywhere and putting it all together. That way I could really dive into the characters, really open the movie up, give the film an energy. The other challenge of the found footage format is always justifying the camera. I mean, how many films have you seen with the lead characters in danger, yet they're still filming? It's like, why are you still filming? Put that camera down and run for your life. So in this film, when all hell breaks loose, I decided to shift into more traditional cinematic filmmaking techniques, as if we've caught up with all the footage and we're now in real time. And that's the fun of the VHS films. There's really no rules. You really get to experiment and play around with different ways to tell the story. We shot this film in 5 days in my hometown of Atlanta, and the reason we shot in Atlanta is my friend and fellow producer Nils Onsager owns a martial arts school called Black Knight, and we transformed that facility into a movie studio. We were able to stage a lot of scenes here, like the police department. We had a green screen stage, stunt training. We shot the workshop here, all the theater exteriors. And then upstairs, the production design team built Dante's dressing room. And then in the gymnasium, they transformed that into the backstage of the theater. And I just want to talk about production design real quick. Molly Coffey was our production designer. Her and her team brought this movie to a whole nother level. And in a very short schedule and a very low budget, she pulled off a miracle.
Real magic.
That gym is a large space, and filling up a large space like that is extremely difficult. But they pulled in magic stuff from all over the city. Nick Morgan, who's our set decorator, has vintage magician art that he lended to the production. Those guys exceeded my expectations and blew me away. I can't say enough great things about that team. In the script, I wrote that Dante had a hidden compartment in his dressing room, and Molly Coffey had the great idea of making that actually behind a breaker box. So he'd hit a button, and the breaker box would lower and reveal his hidden compartment of VHS tapes. I mean, I figure the movie's called VHS. I gotta put some VHS tapes in it. Dante probably transferred all his footage to VHS, knowing that no one would be able to watch it, since almost no one has a VCR anymore. To give the movie some scope, we then went and shot interiors at the Alabama Theater, which is a awesome theater in Birmingham. I had a film show there at the Sidewalk Film Festival one year, and I always wanted to shoot in this theater. But the challenge was we only had a 6-hour day. So everything you see in the movie that takes place inside this theater was shot within that 6-hour day. I really love shooting fast like that. You really rely on your instincts, and it gives the film a really good intensity and energy to it. All of our squib hits and all of our pyro were all done practically. You're on fire. We used blanks in the guns. I just like getting that stuff in camera. You can always tell when films just digitally add muzzle flashes or blood splatter. It never quite looks right. So I like just getting it all there on set and digitally enhancing it only if I have to. Everyone always asks me how we did the fireballs. And we actually did them practically. Here's us testing it out here. We drilled a hole in a tennis ball, wrapped it in a sock, dipped that into Coleman's camp fuel.
It actually is a ball of fire.
That is a ball of fire.
That's a ball of fire.
Ball of fire.
Set.
And then we just ran that tennis ball along a wire. Please don't try this at home. We had trained professionals.
And cut. Nice.
So all Dante has to do is fling the ball of fire towards camera, and we just erase the wire. And the last thing I want to show you is I wanted this epic money shot of Dante levitating the audience out of their seats in front of a full house. But we only had enough people for one row. So I had them move to each row, switching jackets and hats, you know, kind of to look like different people. And then I shot green screen shots of people being launched into the air. It looked like way too much fun, so I had to jump in myself. And then visual effects artist Richard Swindell composited it all together so it looked like a full house, and boom, people fly.
But
I really had a blast making this movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you later.